Greetings, fellow humans. Friday, 6 January 2023, 7 year. The 7-year energy really came on fast and strong. For me, it started on the 28th when I arrived to my front door at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Chicago. So I was journaling this morning. I realized that everything is going according to some plan. It's what the still small voice is saying, that all of this is being orchestrated divinely by the divine, with my soul's content. So I haven't had access to my beautiful, loving, lovely sanctuary. And it's funny, when I first got the door open and the blast of steam came out and hit me in the face, and I realized that as I turned the light on and stepped on the stairs, I stepped into 5 inches of hot water. None of it was too shocking. None of it was shocking. I wasn't surprised. I think the following day I was finally feeling anxiety and some trauma, because I realized the magnitude of the amount of work that was in front of me, and how I so quickly had to change gears from being in this state of joy and bliss after I got off the plane and having accomplished the healing that I set out to accomplish. Thank you, Kylie Marina, for giving me that last bit of encouragement when I was doubting 24 hours before I left Chicago on the 14th to go. Within 24 hours, the most amazing thing was I fell back into my old groove, and it was amazing how quickly I knew my way around. It's like riding a bicycle. At least this was for me. And within 48 hours, I was in full swing. Urban camping, we had the sleeping bag, and but this, doing it like this, having a place to come back to, even though there were a couple of cold-ish and damp-ish nights, and I had thoughts of feeling like I'd rather be back in my nice warm bed. I kept pushing through that, knowing that there was so much to come. So I made new friends, and I went hiking in the Palisades, something I'd never done. Thank you, David. There was no full-on sex, but there was a little petting going on, and so that was good for my self-confidence and self-esteem, because it's been so long. Just to know that someone nice and someone kind found me attractive. And so it was baby steps. The circumstance is just not right, and the individual, he knows. When you get housed, and I am coming back, I have my plane ticket, and you're going to learn of this today. So my mobile device got destroyed as well. So today's Friday, it was on Monday. I can't use that. So instead of looking at it as, wow, this is matters are even more complicated, I'm like, I'm just supposed to sit down and allow whatever's wanting to come through. So I'm about to sit here and do some visioning about how I want the place, my intention around my sanctuary, now that it is definitely a new beginning, new floor. They were painting yesterday. I believe I'll get a new dishwasher, new vanity in the bathroom, maybe a new toilet. They have pulled out the toilet, but I think they needed that in order to paint and do some floor work. And I'd really like a new bathtub because the lining in those cheap-ass tubs, man. And how about something a little bit deeper? You know, not everybody is a shower bird. I like to take a bath at least once a week, a nice, refreshing, cleansing sea salt soak. Of course, everyone will get to know soon. We've got the Tubby Time videos. So, visioning the space, what I want to happen there, the men's Reiki group. My workspace to continue to work on this channel to provide these messages to humanity, to my fellow humans. Greetings, fellow humans. Angels go before us, angels come behind. Angels to our left, angels to our right. Angels above, angels below. We are safe and protected everywhere we go because we remain aware and we participate in the process of our journey. Be a blessing. We haven't made any public service announcements. I had a few incidents while I was in California with drivers, but strangely, I was in the Westchester LAX area, West Side Rancho Park. Wasn't as bad as it's been here in Chicago. And I was walking the streets 24 hours a day. So, I mean, I would go to sleep sometime. One night I got into the sleeping bag at 8:30. I was just exhausted, so I was carrying my things. It would have been better, and I'm not looking to do this again, but I can't say that I won't if it's the only option, because I believe that where there's a will, there's a way. And I had a friend ask me while I was out there, how could you go out there without a room, at least a room? And she followed it up by saying, not judging. Well, if I waited to heal my heart, to give myself what I needed in order to get back to who I know I am, and I made that dependent on having everything in perfect order, then I wouldn't be sitting here feeling healed in the matters of the betrayal by my friend, my lover, my partner, and my parental unit. So that's healed. Now I got some heartbreak, that I'm just getting over, having lost some cherished keepsakes and creative items and projects that were started. But I'm moving through that swiftly as a result of having healed the other things. So I did it because I could, because I knew how to. And because I have my faith and my spirituality and my certainty, and I've rooted out all irrational fear, which is what my messages are about. First and foremost, you'll hear it over and over again from me. If you don't sit down very first thing, you don't have to have a religion, you don't have to, that'll all come later. But if you cannot sit down first in your life and tackle, where do I live in irrational fear? Not rational fear is, if you see someone coming at you with a gun, run. That is something to be afraid of. A rational fear is, you don't play with matches around gasoline. So irrational fears are fears of lack, fears of not having, being afraid to make a move. There are no guarantees in life. The sperm was not guaranteed to go into the egg and make you as a baby. There's no guarantees. Get over it. Put your big boy and big girl pants on and get over it. There's no promises. And no guts, no glory. If you take no risks, if you just to play it safer, Yeah, I'm going to sound like I'm lashing out at people, but no, this is what needs to be heard. I've dealt with all the play it safers who've attacked me for being brave and courageous. I had my own brother, when I checked in with him on Christmas Eve, he knew I was going on this trip, and I just used the words urban camping, and he writes back the word dumbass. Well, rather than me reacting to that, because I'm not going to react, I see it for what it is. It's a judgment. It's being judgmental. It's an unhealthy judgment. It's being judgmental. Rather than ask me, are you okay with that? Why would you do that? What's the reason for the choice? Can I understand you? Can I understand this? No, it's an immediate, instant, judgmental behavior. Dumbass. So I didn't react to it. I simply wrote back to it, well, just like what I've had to say to the female parental unit for 10 years, because she was going around saying this person was stupid, this person is a fool, everybody's stupid, and treating people like that from behind the scenes, not directly to their face, that fake nice bullshit. I told her to her face, I said, well, the stupidest person on the planet is the one that goes around thinking that everybody else is stupid. So I just altered that rendition for the brother, and I said, look, the person who may be the biggest dumbass is the one who goes around thinking everybody else is a dumbass. And 2 days later, less than 48 hours after this exchange, is when I was walking along at 4:44 a.m., down a sidewalk waiting for the Starbucks to open, look down and find $480 cash, money. Okay, I had nothing but a few dollars on the Starbucks card. Thank you, brother, for that. That was sweet, a Christmas gift. That really helped get me to the $480 cash. And the sad part about it was there was no way to identify where that came from or who it belonged to. So I look at it as, for some reason, the universe provided that for me. The window was always open, and it was because I was paying attention. I was looking down. I was actually killing time waiting because David wanted me to sleep in his van with him, but he was snoring, and it woke me up. And so I wasn't mad at him. I got up, grabbed my things, went and took a leak, and the dude down at the Windshell's Donut wouldn't let me sit in there for 20 minutes waiting for the Starbucks to open, so I walked back. Had a good attitude, told him, God bless you, brother, walked away, even though he was a piece of shit to me. Could have let me sit there for a couple minutes. It would have been some goodwill. So, but thank you, brother. Had you not done that, I probably would not have walked in that spot where I came across that money. So the first thing I did was, when the Starbucks opened, I tithe, and I'm going to teach everyone about tithing, and not from the religious perspective, but from the Kabbalistic, purely spiritual perspective, universal spiritual perspective. My New Thought, Ancient Wisdom, churches, Agape, and Center for Spiritual Living, and Kepler Institute of Applied Metaphysics, we all taught and learned about tithing. So tithing is giving 10% of all your abundance back. So what I was told, the stories I was told, is so that the farmers in these communities where tithing originated from, it's not a tax. No, it was taxes, and the idea of tax became a hijacked notion off of this beautiful spiritual practice, which is the same thing as prayer or meditation or chanting or energy work. So when you tithe, say you're a farmer and you tithe 10% of your crop to the church, and the church uses that to help people who have lost their food or to feed hungry people. That's what a tithe is. Or you take 10% of your seeds as a farmer at the end of the season, and you also tithe that to the church, and the church then holds that, for example, and church is bad. So let's just say community-centered, spiritual center of the community. And when new farmers come along, then the seeds are issued to these farmers, and the seeds are protected in case there's, weather events and crops are destroyed or something like that. So this is all just a beautiful practice. So what we do is, it's any form of abundance, 10% of anything material that comes to you that could be used in some way to prosper you and to exchange. So I took 10% of my $480 and set that aside immediately and decided, well, who is it in my life that has been nourishing me spiritually, emotionally, been lifting me up, encouraging me, supportive, non-judgmental, who has said or done something where I've said, oh my God, that's up-leveled my consciousness and my awareness, and made me in some way a better version of who I am. So the people at the Starbucks where I had been hanging out, going to wash up in the morning, and there were several days where I didn't have money to buy anything, and they did not harass me or give me a hard time. I kept to myself. They gave me hot water so I could make tea and coffee at my table, and that is how I met David. He came in one morning, and he was the one who spoke very nicely to me, and we started a conversation, and we exchanged telephone numbers, and a few days later, we went hiking together, and it was beautiful. I knew when I visualized this experience that these things would happen, that I would meet people, and that I would make them into beautiful experiences and beautiful memories, and that's what I have. And that has healed my heart from the garbage that I had to deal with for the last 6 months of 2022. Part of the tithe, you break it up. So $480, it was $48. I set aside $50, tithe a little bit more, and the universe likes that. Just like the universe loves when we share what we have, and just like the universe loves when we pray for others, even though our own prayers may not yet have been answered. The universe loves that when we're selfless. And just, if everyone can get to the point where they're 51% other people focused, other people centered, where you give just a little bit more to those around you. And I'm not saying to the bad actors, okay? Maybe the bad actors need a little love too, but use discernment in your own inner judgment, the discernment of your soul. And you'll know intuitively where you should give your love and give your tithes. So I knew intuitively that I wanted to give part of my tithe to the people at the Starbucks. Well, they were just so excited to start out the day. I was the first person through the door with a $20 bill in their tip bucket. And the rest of the morning was beautiful. And so then I was able to go on and do some things. Went to the post office and bought some stamps. Bought a few products like Dio to care for myself. I didn't have that. And toothpaste. And set aside some money to give to David because he had told me that he wanted to drive me to the airport the day that I left. And so I set aside some money for David. I did not give that to him until the day that I left. So, yeah, just sharing the story with all of you. So now we're going to sit here and do some visioning over how the energy we want in the space. And when I moved into the space, I noticed that there were two themes that the universe were highlighting for me, and one of them was America, United States of America. All these things with the flag started coming to me. The little lanterns that were in the window, an American flag that I hung over my peephole, a chair in the image of the U.S. flag, and a serving tray that had the image of the U.S. flag on it. So it was like they were trying to tell me to get in touch with being proud to be an American, and to get in touch with myself as to what that means to me, and I'm clear on it. I've talked about it in another video. I'm not going to repeat that, but do that for yourself. Understand what it means to be an American, the rights and responsibilities of being a good citizen, and also that we have a right and a responsibility to stand up for the bad actors that we have supposedly voted for. I have a feeling that we're still going to find out someday that they have been installed through a rigged voting system. They have been able to pull the wool over our eyes for so many years that they are so confident. This started in the 50s, folks, maybe even earlier, maybe even right after World War II. But as soon as they started using any kind of electronic voting machines, automated voting machines, that's when this began, and they've been practicing, and now it's a national thing. That is my opinion, that is my perspective, and I am allowed to have that. I must reiterate yet again, if you're not resonating or vibing and you don't like me, don't leave any hate mail or hate messages. Just go your own way. You don't take what works for you, what you hear, and leave the rest. I respect your right to have an opinion and a belief and a thought and a perspective, and I will stand up as an American for your right to have that, even if I may not agree with you. And that is all I expect of my fellow citizens, is that we are on the same page as far as standing up for each other's right to have an opinion, to voice that opinion with respect. Okay, it gets passionate sometimes. We're Americans. We're passionate people. The Germans are passionate people too. And we should focus that passion, especially our righteous anger, as Jesus taught us to. I had a wonderful conversation with the Lyft driver the other night, who's one of those born-again Pentecostal Christians, and she just could not wrap her brain around the fact that I love Jesus, but I'm not a Christian, and I don't practice, and I don't need a Bible, and Jesus told me so. He's like a big brother to me who's teaching me how to be like him, and that is what I feel is the truth. And I told her this very lovingly and very politely. I said, I believe that Jesus is encouraging me to develop my own relationship with God, with our Creator. And so that has been a journey for me. I have been a little intimidated by going directly to God, and it's getting better. But life has got a lot of distractions, and so I'm asking God for a lot of forgiveness for not spending more time. Maybe I am, and I'm not aware of it. I'm a Virgo, and I have a tendency to be very difficult, very hard on myself, perfectionist. But so I'm working on my relationship with Creator. But Jesus, whether he is the Son of God or not, I am the Son of God, and you're the son or daughter of God. There's only male and female on earth. In heaven, all souls are neuter, or both gender. That is the truth there. And so all these hang-ups over gender and all this madness, all these created genders is meant to confuse people. It's meant to confuse the souls that are coming in here, who are here to bring in the new earth. It's meant to derail them and sidetrack them. We got to get back to, and we have to force this, that on any matter such as gender, there's a natural order to things, and that's all there is. Because otherwise, it's just like when in mythology they were making these centaurs and this, that, and the other thing, where they were mixing animals, supposedly this, that, or that. It was genetic. It was a race of beings from another planet that was doing genetic mutations on the planet, and that's what could potentially be happening behind the scenes right now as well too. But so I want to be, let's see, here's just an example. Babies are born either male with a penis or female with a vagina, and maybe sometimes there's a rarity where I've heard there's both hermaphrodite. I don't know very much about that stuff, but I've heard that there are some. And then there are individuals who are born who feel for some reason at some point in their life that their soul is in the wrong gender body. And then they, especially as time has gone by, because the butchers, the surgeons, have decided that they want to tinker around with this shit, they are helping these people to find their way into altering their bodies. I am not judging. If that's how you feel, go for it. I support you 100%. I just pray that you don't hurt yourself. And I pray that, because many have died in the process of these surgeries. But, hey, I see you as a brave warrior if that's what you want to do, if you want to take your body and reconstruct it. As a matter of fact, made a new transgender female to male friend. Hey, Gio. I'm interested in getting to know you better, too, as a friend. I'm noticing that there are men out there who are born male who are saying that they want to have involvements, relationships, friendships, and sex with transgendered individuals. Okay. Again, I'm not judging. It's just, to me, it starts getting confusing. And when a person has made, say, a transition from male to female, then who do you date? I'm saying that with genuine curiosity. Who do you date? Who is your dating pool? Are you looking for a heterosexual male? Or is there variances or a variation here? So if you were a male who's transgendered, were you homosexual male before you did the transgender, or were you heterosexual man before you? And then who is the object of your desire? I'm curious. Leave comments. I want to know. I'm not judging. I think we all have something we can learn from this. And anytime we learn something, it's a beautiful thing. So, hey, Gio, I can learn something from you, too. And you're pretty funny, and you made me laugh, and you seem really cool. You seem really anchored. Yeah, your boss kind of filled me in there because I said, oh, there's something about Gio. And I picked it up over the phone, and that's when she said, yeah, Gio's openly transitioned. And so, oh, okay, well, that's wild. But I think maybe it was just at the moment I was in such a low place. I had felt so abused, and my self-esteem was damaged, that the little bit of kindness that I received from Gio that day generated the feeling of, oh, this person, Gio is attractive, I'm sure, but it was my own stuff that was making me feel like, oh, this person is really nice. It was nice to feel loved. That's what it felt like. There was an undertone of love. And so when we give that to other people, we have no idea. So thank you for doing it that day, Gio. You didn't know it, but your act of kindness and your nature or whatever was going on that day was what I needed that day and helped me get through that particular day. So on that note, folks, we're going to go into visioning. I'm going to go into visioning. I'm made peace with the fact that I'm going to stay here in this hotel until Monday morning. I'm happy here. I have everything I need. I have to go to the apartment because that's where all my food is. I will have money for food tomorrow morning, and I'm able to cook here at the space, which is really cool. And I'm able to bathe. That has been just a godsend after really not being able to do anything for those 13 days in California, but use the dude wipes to wash up, which was fine. I was clean. The dude bath, they call it. So I'm advertising for it. Maybe I'll get a sponsorship. Dude bath. On that note, if you're a driver, please be kind to the pedestrians, regardless of who they are. You're in a 5,000-pound vehicle. It's winter here in North America, in the Northern Hemisphere. You're seated in a warm, heated vehicle. People on bicycles or pedestrians, they're out in the cold. I'm imploring people to put the mobile devices down. I see it all the time. Don't take the turns. To me, the first thing that comes to mind when I say that is, God, you don't care about yourself. And if somehow you foul up while you're in the vehicle and you just smack your vehicle into something, you could hurt yourself. What about the people that love you? What if something... 14 years ago, I was walking down the street, Forest Preserve Drive, and there were no cars on the two-lane road coming towards me. I'm walking eastbound on the sidewalk, and I see a white van approaching in the distance. And it's not going more than the speed limit. It actually seems to be going slower than the speed limit in that area, that stretch. My destination at the time was the Borders bookstore. Remember those? Spent a lot of time in the Borders. Well, only vehicle on the road headed towards me. All of a sudden, I see this vehicle veering from the far left lane into the far right lane and then up onto the curb and smacks right into the 30-foot tall or 25-foot tall lamppost. Smacks headfirst into it. And like I said, the vehicle wasn't going the full 35 miles an hour, but it was enough to send the light post down right in front of me. The pole itself crossed my path 10 feet before me, and the lamp landed next to me over the fence into the Walgreens parking lot on the top of a black four-door Volkswagen Jetta, smashing, crushing the top of the car. And I'm standing there with all the breath out of my lungs as a young teenage girl gets out of the driver's seat, streaming tears, crying, with the mobile device in her hand. And I'm thinking, yes, now there's a group of people coming from somewhere, and they walk up to her. But at that point, I was so furious, I just didn't want to get involved because I felt like I was going to say something to really, really crush her. She had to feel bad enough. So, first off, she could have been injured or died. Second off, I could have been injured or died. Third off, there could have been other people around, other cars. And fourth off, there could have been a person in that vehicle, that Volkswagen, or around that vehicle, or in one of the vehicles next to it, who could have been injured or damaged or harmed. So I want everyone to think about this. If you don't have self-control, get in the car, put the device in the glove box, lock it, and then start your car. It's not going to feel good on your soul if something happens and you can't even call it an accident. It's an irresponsibility. And I see every male and female, every age, driving along, the one hand on the wheel and looking at the device. Okay? I had to buy caddies for the X to hang on his dashboard, and he'd break them all the time. And then he'd be sitting there. They'd tell him, this is causing me anxiety. And not only are you looking at the device for the directions, because you can't just remember where you're going the way we used to in olden days. You can't learn your routes. But you're texting, and you're on Messenger. You are really offending me and causing me anxiety. You're insulting my intelligence by doing this, and then yelling at me because I'm saying that this behavior is wrong. So, argue me on that. Tell me it's not wrong. Somebody. Okay? Yeah. Tell me somehow. Tell me in what way this is not wrong. And so the ex-boyfriend takes the phone and whips it into his cracked windshield. Really, bro? Rage and violence? I should have known then. At any rate, may this day find you having a wonderful day, learning and growing, and having amazing experiences. May you live in the greatest dream that you dream for your life. That's my prayer for all of you. You are my flyers and my angels. Doreen Virtue, look up Earth Angels and Elementals. Do a Bing search or a Yahoo search or inbox dollar search. Get paid for in there. Oh, I should put that link out there. And I love you all. Namaste. Avion-Marie signing off.